Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the 2018 NFL Draft Class, specifically Florida State's defensive safety, Derwin James. This video in particular, we're going to go over his analytics profile. So we're going to look at what he looks like from a production standpoint and what he looks like from an athleticism standpoint. And we're also going to get into some comps of him that the media has made on Derwin James, and then also get into what his actual comp may be from a data perspective. So if you're new to the channel and you're new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So if you're not familiar with what defensive market share data is, if you're not familiar with what explosive lower body strength score, speed score, flexibility score, or any of the other things that I discussed in this video, just go to the description and all the terms and definitions will be there. So first off, when you look at Derwin James from a production standpoint, this is based on data going back to the 1989 NFL Draft Class, and looking at him specifically as a strong safety, he scored a 76.08 solo tackle market share score, a 72.52 interception market share score, and an 88.70 pass deflection or pass breakup market share score. Based on my data since that time span, again since 1989, he pretty much hits the Pro Bowl thresholds when it comes to interception market share and when it comes to pass deflection market share. The only areas that he kind of misses the mark is with solo tackle data. Most all-pro safeties, in fact all the all-pro safeties, and when I say all-pro, I'm talking about guys like Troy Polamalu, I'm talking about guys like Sean Taylor, I'm talking about like the tops of the tops. Those guys at the strong safety position usually hit 98.90 out of 100 when it comes to solo tackle data. So Derwin James doesn't quite have that level of solo tackle data, but he's very close to what the Pro Bowl threshold is of 77.66. And again, the rest of his data looks pretty good from a Pro Bowl perspective as well. And it's because of that, I would say that Derwin James, from a production standpoint, has Pro Bowl level production versus all-pro level production, because he kind of misses the mark in terms of solo tackle data. It misses the mark in terms of interception data, not by a huge amount, at least in terms of interception data, not as much as solo tackle data, but definitely enough to not say that he is a guaranteed to be an all-pro type. And then, of course, when you get to the averages at the position, so this is what the average scores are for all-pro safeties, Pro Bowl safeties, and starter safeties. As you can clearly see, his data kind of lines up more with the Pro Bowlers and starters when it comes to his overall data. So again, the all-pro players typically are really great in terms of solo tackle, interception, and pass deflection. And Derwin James, although he does have very good pass deflection data, his solo tackle data and his interception data is not exactly where it needs to be. Now, when you get to the comps of Derwin James, the number one comp that I've heard a lot relating to Derwin James is saying that he is Eric Berry. This has been a comp that has been given by, I believe, Matt Miller of Bleacher Report. He was probably one of the first ones to say that he is Eric Berry as a comp, which I may be wrong about that, but that's every time I see a Bleacher Report article from Matt Miller, it uses that comparison. So the only problem with that comp is that when you actually look at the production data of Eric Berry, very distinct differences here. Eric Berry had much better solo tackle data, much better interception data. The pass deflection data is very similar, but I think where it all breaks down is in terms of athleticism data, because when you look at Eric Berry as an athlete, so again, this is Eric Berry as an athlete. He had a 98.40 explosive lower body strength score, 96.61 speed score, and 92.96 flexibility score. Just 90+ percentile in terms of every single athleticism metric. When you get to Derwin James, his athleticism score, he had a 96.45 explosion score, 90.33 speed score, but a 41.81 flexibility score. That is where the breakdown comes down with Derwin James, is that he definitely is very explosive, he's very fast, and in those two areas, he is similar to Eric Berry in terms of explosion and speed, but in terms of flexibility, that is where it breaks down in terms of Eric Berry comparison. Is that Eric Berry was a significantly more athletic all-around player, especially when it comes to flexibility, versus Derwin James. And that is the only main criticism I have of Derwin James, is that from a production standpoint, he looks like a Pro Bowl player. From an athleticism standpoint, he doesn't really look like a Pro Bowl player, because most Pro Bowl safeties strong safeties especially, had very, very good flexibility testing. And Derwin James just doesn't quite have that flexibility testing. Now, the one comparison that I do like for Derwin James is Josh Jones. Josh Jones was the Green Bay Packers' second-round selection last year. Josh Jones, production-wise, was much more productive than Derwin James. I mean, when you look at Josh Jones' solo tackle data, interception data, and even pass selection data, he was a much more productive all-around player in terms of market share. But from an athleticism standpoint, they are similar. This is Josh Jones. In terms of his athleticism data, he had a 96.90 explosion score, 98.81 speed score, and a 54.42 flexibility score. So Josh Jones is a better athlete than Derwin James, but they're very similar in that they're explosive, fast, but not very flexible, or at least not 90-plus percentile flexibility. That is realistically the comp that I would give to Derwin James. I would say that he is very similar to Josh Jones, and of course Josh Jones was the guy that I had a first-round grade on last year. Anybody that's followed my draft guide or any other sort of material I had Josh Jones as a first-round player last year. So I do still view Derwin James as a first-round player, but I think when you look at his athleticism data, and you look at his production data, which is not exactly perfect. It's not exactly like Eric Berry. It's not exactly even like Josh Jones. I think you definitely should reconsider what a lot of people view Derwin James as a top 10 overall selection in this class, because I think that even though Derwin James definitely is a good football player, I think he's going to end up being a pretty good safety at the next level. I think in terms of high quality outcomes, if you're talking about this player as someone that's going to go on to become a multiple All-Pro, multiple Pro Bowl type, I would say the chances of that happening are a lot less likely due to his flexibility testing and due to the fact that his production data was not exactly elite, which is what a lot of people are saying that it is. So I still like Derwin James. I still think that he's a good player. I just think that you need to temper your expectations on him once he enters the NFL. And I think if you do that, you'll be much happier with the ultimate outcome of his NFL transition. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification button so that you're always reminded when another video of mine drops. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace!